Good morning, students, with all the wellness. I hope you all might be well at your places. Actually, when we talk about the life, when we talk about the gist of life, then whatever the parameters are, or whatever the parameters were, or whatever the parameters will be, amongst these things, the two indispensable items, or else you can call the two indispensable and essential values of life, they are actually go parallel to each other. Okay, as you know perhaps they never meet with each other, but at the end we find them going together. Either it was Dwapar Yug, okay, either it was Dwapar Eon, or else it was Satyug Eon, either it is this Kalyug Eon. Okay, if we talk about the not only the decades, not only the centuries, but about the eons, युगों की अगर अपन बात करते हैं तो, so the time when there were gods on the earth, okay, and their representatives on the earth, then what we saw there, because they came, they incarnated, okay, or else they proceeded themselves physically, materialistically, kingly, commonly. Reason was that because behind them there were some vices. There were some vices. We can, if we talk about Krishna, then we will be having a picture of Kans. When we talk about Rama, then we will be having a picture of Ravana. When we talk about Bahubali, then we will be having a picture of Bhallaldev. So that means there are two energies that keep on moving parallel to each other, and the energies must be having, must go side by side with each other. Then only the worth of goodness is embodied, represented, and felt. The same happens if the positive energy will keep on moving ahead parallel to the negative energy. Then what will be there? The circumstances and the weighing scale of the nature. And moreover, we can say the universal parameters and the universal, equation. It will be having uh, its evenness, and moreover its commonness also. Otherwise the life will be so monotonous. Okay, like daily if we keep on eating ice cream, then after a certain extent we want, no, this is enough now, we need something salty, something sour. The same happens with the nature and with the universe also. My purpose, I don't want that badness should be, okay, should be, keep on moving and should actually exist on the earth. And I don't want that goodness should be denied on behalf of the importance of the badness. But my purpose is only one thing: if you want to feel the worth of goodness, there must be badness. Okay, and the badness must be having the same cadre, the same standard, the same, you can call, exposure that your goodness is having. That's why in front of Krishna there was Kansa, in front of Rama there was Ravana. So students, I means before moving ahead, I want to recall one incident. In this incident, when Ravana was assassinated, actually. Okay, he was slain, he was killed, he was murdered, and all things were set up properly. Then, when the entire family of Rama, Lakshmana, Sita, Mata, okay, Hanumana, okay, and all the other representatives, when they came, actually, they came to Ayodhya. Then Hanumana was very eager and he was very curious. Okay, as okay, he stepped ahead in the palace of Ayodhya. He wanted the first person to meet, that was Kekai. And you won't believe, this is composed very beautifully, very artistically by Valmiki's. As he went in the palace, he immediately ran, and he found and he touched her feet. He said, Mata, if you had not been that much of obstinated, perhaps I, okay, the commoner, could never have met Lord Rama, could never ever actually have witnessed Lord Rama. So this whole setup is because of your obstination. She started crying, she started weeping. She thought, oh God, I did a sin, and my sin brought that kind of impact, that kind of goodness also. So you can't surmise that the problems, the challenges that you are facing now, that you are witnessing, you are coming across now, your experience, drastic experience, bitter experience, okay, maybe out of prejudicial attitude, out of being prejudiced, you can say, my life is, I'm unlucky, I'm misfortunate, But after an extent, when you move ahead, then you find, oh, that bitter experience was the real asset of my life. The day when I parked it positively, today I am dealing in a complete positivity. Reason? Because I was reinforced, I was encouraged by that earlier parked negativity. This is the gist of our poem. The poem, the ball poem. The ball poem. Okay, the name is quite common, the title is quite common. The ball poem. The ball, as you all are acquainted with this word, but when it is related to okay something special, the ball, that means beyond sportive nature or beyond sportsmanship environment, it is connected to childhood. When we imagine a picture of a child, then we find him playing with a ball. But behind every poem, behind every word, there is a different significance, there is a different representation, there is a different embodiment that is being had while the poem was composed. There was an extension actually, which was actually taken by the poet at the time when the poem was written. So try to connect yourself. The ball is just an object, but behind the object there is something else. There may be the gist of life, there may be the essence of your own identity, there may be something else. What something else? When we go ahead with the text, then only we can be able to understand. But if I just because this platform is not for the question, but even then, if a child, okay, who is who actually crawling, when he starts moving ahead, the second step will be when he will learn walking. At the beginning he will get staggered when he will step up, and out of stepping up he has to dare. Until he dares, he won't be able to move ahead, he won't be able to walk properly. And in his daring, if we keep on supporting, if we keep on helping, then what will be there? There will be the staggering will remain forever. Because to learn him and to make him understand the real worth of walking and the real strength of walking, we should leave him alone, we should leave him free. The freedom will give him the ultimate lesson, the ultimate understanding how to walk, as we discussed the time when we were discussing the chapter The First Flight. Okay, the seagull, he was not encouraged, he was just reinforced by his mother. Ultimately the flight was captured and was held by him only when he could be able to flap his wings and could be able to move in the air. So the same happens with everyone. The poem will be having the same gist, the same essence. And when we talk about the words, the lines, and the text of the poem, then see, what is the boy now? Who has lost his ball? What is the boy now who has lost his ball? Okay, the poem starts with a rhetorical question. What is the boy now? What is the boy now who has lost his ball? Oh, there is a boy. And who has lost his ball? So what happened? Why? Where? Who? These all questions are rhetorical questions in poetical, in poetic devices. You can understand behind, okay, the purpose of using these questions are only one: to make the readers curious, to make the readers, you can feel in a spectrum of imaginations that yeah, there is something quite curious. What is he to do? Okay, again, what, who, when someone has lost something, now what will be the consequences actually? If I have lost something, then what will be the further consequences? So with these questions the poem starts. I saw it go. Now the narrator, the author, the poet, he is saying to us, I saw it go. Whom? The ball. Yeah, the boy was with a ball. I saw it go. The boy was going with the ball. Where he was going? Merrily, bouncing down the street. And then I recently saw the boy was the ball, and he was he was gaily dancing and bouncing the ball. And in the street only recently, I saw him, I found him. Okay. So the curiosity, and you can call, the imagination, now it has been empowered with the next actually third line. There it is in the water. There it is in the water. That means the boy was playing nearby the water. You can call water bodies and a water pool and water pond somewhere else. So the ball went inside the pool or inside the pond. So he said, I recently saw him. He was very happy. He was very gay with the ball. He was bouncing. The ball was being bounced by the boy, and suddenly all these things happened. Okay, no use to say, oh, there are other balls. This is the life that the poet wants to convey. No use to say there are other balls. If you say there are other balls, it means the balls are taken. The balls will be taken as granted things by the boy. And when the things are taken granted by someone, then the things will lose their values, will lose their worth. So, the poet, being honest and being an earnest and a grave person, he is saying to us, no need to say that the balls are many things and you can have other balls. No. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boys. Sadness, ultimate sadness. Why the ultimate sadness? Because the thing that he was possessing, that he has lost. So the sadness and the misery is ultimate, the misery is earnest, the misery is pure. Let the misery be pure. The boy is, actually the poet wants to convey with this line that an ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy as he stands rigid, trembling, staring down. The boy is now alone. No one is there. He had a ball, the ball had been lost. So, the ball had been lost. That means his happiness are over. The happiness are over. And when the happiness are over, then what is there? Then there is the sadness that is entering, that is emerging. And out of this sadness, out of, we can call childish ostination, childish attitude, childish exposure. Okay, and even in the sadness, even in the misery, the boy is actually, okay, he is shaking, he is quivering, he is vibrating with what? With anger, with sadness, with misery of losing ball, but with with this entire spectrum, where there is quivering, where there is rigidity, where there is trembling, where there is vibration, where there is misery, where there is sadness of losing the ball. Okay, this is the real fusion. These are the real obstruction of life. These are the real complications of life. If someone faces them positively, then there will be no bar in front of him. So, this is a kind of churning process. This is a kind of filtering process. This is a kind of adulterating process, a kind of refining process. So, the author wants to convey to us all his young days into the harbor where? All his young days. The boy staring at the water hole, staring at the harbor, staring at the pond where the ball has been actually, you can call, has been dropped. So he is watching at there. But the water body and the boy, and in between both of them, okay, the ball coming and then ball going, ultimately it had gone. So that means there is a connection, there is a relation between both of them, between the pond and between the boy. But the relation was innocent, the relation was pure, you can call. Exactly, because the relation, when the relation is innocent, then the relation is quite pure. But beyond this purity, now the relation wants to extend itself, wants to enhance itself, because the child is growing day by day. So with the growing, the relation must grow, must develop it. So all his, what he has said, all his young days into the harbor, where? His young days, the forgotten days, okay, he started recalling, oh, this is the place where I have lost earlier my ball, this is the place where I did this thing, I did these old things. These old things are entering, okay, they are entering. So, beyond grief, misery, quivering, rigidity, there are many things that are coming in his mind. And out of those old things, what is there? His ball went. I would not intrude on him. I just want to be an earnest poet, earnest author, earnest writer, and I am not going to interrupt in such kind of things, because this is actually a universal. This is actually a universal filtration theory, you can call, and this is a natural filtration theory. We being, okay, the terrestrial bodies, we being the earthly worms, should not interrupt in this pure and, you can call, pure refinement. So he's saying, I am not going to intrude in this process. Why he is not going to intrude? I would not intrude on him. A dime, another ball is worthless. Because my actually, as an intruder, if I go as a poet, and what would I say to the boy? I would say, beta, take this dime, take this coin, go and purchase another ball. Okay, don't get bothered. This is, I'm having another ball, play with this. These two things can be said by him. If I intrude, I don't want to intrude. Reason is that now he senses first responsibility, because at this time the boy is learning responsibility. What kind of responsibility? The responsibility that will speak, that will be having an echo throughout his life, that we don't, when we don't care the things are lost by us. And the fusion of responsibility that will make the boy more responsible, honestly responsible actually. And this is actually the worth of life, when someone becomes responsible, okay, not only for himself but for the other things that he or she is possessing. Then what will be, then only that only, the output that life wants from us. So the boys, miss, as I told you, with the earlier fusion of all those sadness, misery, and other things, the boy is learning responsibility. And this responsibility, okay, we should not interrupt in this lesson. There is a teacher, the nature, okay, the time. And the chapter is responsibility. So, being an honest and a holy, and you can call a pure one, I should not interrupt in this teaching. And okay, worthless, now he senses first responsibility in a world of possessions. World of possessions. Okay, when a small boy, he is having, okay, don't cry, take this, don't cry, take this, oh, don't cry, take this. This is what the world of possessions. We are occupied with the things that we are actually taking for granted. Okay, this is not the life. It will never be like that only. As I told you earlier, when the things are given when means your comfort zone is the real sadness. Your comfort zone is the real sadness. What is happiness? Happiness is actually an illusion. Sadness is what? Sadness is actually a trigger, a reinforcement. It gives you a boost of energy to move ahead. So his responsibility will make him understand that whatever that I possess, it may be lost. It may be lost if I am irresponsible. But if I am responsible, perhaps I would be able to manage them, keeping them long in my possessions. Okay, and that possessions will not be that kind of taken for granted possessions, but that will be the real possessions that makes him understand that if he loses, okay, there will be a lot of consequences of losing the things also. People will talk. People will take balls. Balls will be lost always. People will take balls. Balls will be lost always. Okay, the poet here again with the philosophical attitude. What he is saying, we all are with many balls. Maybe the boy was with with an object that is known as ball. Maybe I am with another object that I can consider as the ball. Okay, so people are with balls. Balls are balls will be lost always, and they keep on losing the balls if they are not responsible, if they are not honestly, purely, okay, and devotionally dedicated to that particular thing. Then what will be there? They will lose the things, and a little boy, and no one buys a ball back. This is what that you want to understand, students. No one buys a ball back. You will think, why? If we are having money, we can buy it back. No, you can't buy. The earlier that you lost, the one that you lost, and the time that you lost, that will never be taken back. So this is the responsibility. Maybe, maybe whatever things that you have lost, you will get them back, but not the same. The things will be different. You will pay, you can call another dime, okay, to be having their possessions. The earlier one will never be taken. Lost means lost permanently. And with them, the time is lost. With them, the connection is lost. With them, the relation is lost. So, I just want to make the boy understand when the things are taken for granted, you should be ready to lose them. Because once they are lost, they will never come back. Instead of them, substitutory will come, but they will never come. Money is external. Money is external. What is internal? Internal is the connection, the emotions, and moreover, the relation with the things. Money is external. Perhaps it can give you an access to purchase a new ball. Perhaps it can give you a more grant to purchase a new ball. But even then, your interior connection, interior happiness, okay, that is can't purchased by the money. So money is just an external thing, beta. The poet wants to convey. The poet wants him to understand money is just an external equipment, external, you can call medium. And with this medium, we will not be able to receive the ultimate happiness, okay, and the ultimate gist of responsibility that we will be having after losing the ball internally. He is learning well behind his desperate eyes. So perhaps the boy is sad. Perhaps the eyes are desperate, but behind them there is a chapter that he is learning. There is a philosophy that he is coming across. There is actually a fusion of universal truth that the boy is understanding. And what is that? The epistemology of laws. Student, when the pieces of experience, you go nearest to the pieces of experience, it turns into knowledge. When you go when you go to the nearest to the knowledge, it turns into realization. When you go nearest to the realization, it turns into epistemology. That means the essence of life, the knowledge of life. So this is the boy behind the scenario, the thing that is going on. That is what the knowledge of life. And the boy is learning that. And what is the knowledge of life? How to stand up. The epistemology of laws, how to stand up. Ki after losing something, after receiving positivity, after losing something, how can we move ahead? How can we, okay, how can we be happy? How can we be gay? Okay, gaily moving ahead towards more and more and more achievements in a life. Knowing what every man must know one day. Knowing what every man must know one day. This is actually the knowledge. This is actually the perception that every man has to know one day. And gradually, and most know many days how to stand up, and most knows many days how to stand up. Among us there are many people, okay, who learn such kind of knowledge after a certain extent, how to stand up in the life. But this is the good thing, that the boy is learning at his early age how to stand up and how to move ahead after losing something. So with all this beautification, the poet wants to convey only, if we talk about the essence, about the gist, that after losing something, we should not interrupt in that knowledge of losing. Because if we interrupt, then what will be? The knowledge will be evaporated. It will be